Welcome to APA Style Basics. This video will introduce you to the use of APA style in your academic papers. Why do we cite sources? Citing honors the work of scholars being quoted, protects you from plagiarism, and it helps readers find the source if they are interested in learning more. Anytime you use information from another individual in a book, a website, or an interview, you must cite that source. There are many styles used to cite sources, such as MLA or Chicago style. Most programs at JFK University use APA, standing for the American Psychological Association. The basic formatting style of APA is listed here. All of these components are necessary to make your paper fit the APA style. There are three main parts: cover page, text, and reference page. Within the paper, all text should be Times New Roman, 12 points, and double-spaced. Let's look at some samples to see where the running head, 1-inch margins, paragraph indentation, and in-text citations can be applied. Here is a sample cover page. At the top, in the header space, your abbreviated title will be in all caps and appear on every page. However, the words running head should only appear on the first page. Your page number will appear on the same line as the running head. Now let's look at the next page, your first page of text. This is what your first page of text will look like. Notice the all caps running head and the page number continue from page 1. The title appears again here, centered on the first line. In this sample, it's titled Writers and Artists Fan the Creative Flame. All the lines are double-spaced, and all the paragraphs begin with a 1/2 inch indentation. Also, the page margins, or space between the text and the edge of the paper, have been set to 1 inch on the top, bottom, left, and right. These sample pages are available in our free APA Guidelines booklet and online at our website listed at the end of this presentation. The most important principle of citation is to always match your in-text and reference information. If the name Lamott is in the text, then Lamott should be on the reference page. Even when an author is not available, we wouldn't list a website or title in the text of the paper. The organization, Amnesty International, is treated as the author in this second example. More importantly, the words Amnesty International are prominently located both in the text and first in the reference entry. This makes it easy for a reader to match the two when they flip to the end of your paper. Let's start with the in-text entries, which will appear within your sentences. To give an author credit, use the last name and year. An author's last name and year should always be used when giving credit. Think of the name and year as paired together. They should not be separated. You may sometimes use a page number, but not always. Only direct quotes using an author's exact words require page numbers. So if you're just summarizing an author's ideas, not using his words, no page is necessary. You would cite that summary using just the name and year. Here's a sample sentence needing citation. When the author's name is not spoken in the sentence and you are quoting exact words from the author, you should enclose all three items, name, year, and page, at the end of the sentence in parentheses. Also, notice the period to end this sentence is placed after the parentheses. When the author's name is spoken in the sentence, your citation would look like this. The name and year are paired together. Notice the name is immediately followed by the year in parentheses. Since this is a direct quote, a page number is required. The page number can stand alone after the quote, since we have already provided the name and year in the sentence. Paraphrase means you are explaining an idea from another author and putting it into your own words. You must cite the author for this too. Citation for a paraphrase is the same as citation for a quote. However, the page numbers are not necessary because you may be summarizing from a range of pages. As usual, the author's name is paired with the date, whether it is spoken in the sentence or at the end in parentheses. When you have a long quote, use block quoting. Block quotations are used for quotes 40 words or longer. It should be double-spaced like the rest of your paper and indented 1/2 inch on the left side of each line. The right margin is unchanged and ragged. Notice there are no quotation marks used. This is because the indentation of the block already signals to the reader that this is a direct quotation. Also notice the placement of the period. Unlike regular in-text quotes where the period belongs after the parentheses, block quotes move the period before the parenthetical citation. When a source you have quotes someone else, this is considered a secondary source. For example, the book you have by Garfield mentions Stevenson, and you'd like to use Stevenson's words. Here's how to credit both authors. Mention the original author in your sentence, but in the parentheses, use the words "as cited in" to let the reader know the book that you had in hand was by Garfield. The reference page should be alphabetized by author, arranged in a hanging indent as is shown here. This means the top line is flush to the left, but all lines below that entry are indented 1/2 inch. The next entry begins flush left again. Your entries will be double-spaced, and there will be different information depending upon the source. To create an entry for a book, the author's last name and the first and middle initial are included here. The year immediately follows the name, just like in the text of your paper. The book's title is italicized, then the city and state are listed, followed by the publisher. All of this information is often located on the inner pages of a book. When you have used an author who is included in an anthology or other book that contains many authors, use that author's name first in your reference page and in text. We've used Amy Tan's essay here. Tan's name and essay are listed first, then the book it came from. Bloom and Smith were the editors, and the book was Arlington Reader. The reference in text would include the first two elements of this entry. Tan 2011. Electronic publishing has been growing rapidly and now appears to be the primary source for research. APA recommends that you include the same elements as you would for a book, i.e. author name and publishing year. Only include the web address on the reference page. The URL should not appear in the text, just list the author and year there. You should also provide as much retrieval information as needed for others to locate the sources that you used. This is a screenshot from the ProQuest database where you might find scholarly articles. Most journal articles have a tracking number called the DOI, which stands for Digital Object Identifier. Many journals are using this as a tracking number to help identify an article quickly, no matter where it resides on the web. When creating a reference for one of these articles, add the DOI at the end. Here is our sample reference page sample. If no DOI is listed, like in this example, use the document ID for that database, listed here with the arrow. The database name and number are listed at the end of your citation. When an article has no DOI or tracking number assigned, use the URL web address. This format also applies if you have a reliable website, such as an encyclopedia, government report, or professional organization. If there is no date listed, use the abbreviation ND in its place. This stands for no date. You may use this on the reference page and in the text of your paper. If there is no author name listed, use the organization or company in his place. This concludes our APA video. For more information, pick up or download a copy of our free APA Guidelines booklet. We invite you to contact us with specific questions or writing concerns. Thanks for watching.